Good evening. I'm Elizabeth Schmidt-Kuntz, and I am a Bismarck Public School social worker and part of our Mental Health and Substance Abuse Task Force here at Trinity. This evening we'll be having our event, You Are Not Alone, and one of the things that we'd like to do is just share more strategies for families to help talk about emotions and things that are happening for our kids as early as we can. So as families, there can be so much pressure to teach and raise children ready for the world. Sometimes even as professionals, it can be hard to know, what do you start with? So today I'd like to share an activity with you that can be a great start to building a safe environment at home with open conversations about emotions. This activity will allow your family to build empathy, listening, and self-regulation skills. With these foundations, your children have the best start in facing the world ahead. Our activity is called the Emotions Bowl. This activity will support those connections on the topics of feelings and emotions and opening up that and talking about breaking that stigma around those emotions. Family members will be shown that it is a safe place and normal to talk about it, and this activity can easily be built into any routine for any age child and can be super important to remember that any emotion is never too small or not able to be talked about. Individuals will also build the self-awareness of what emotions are and how they can manage them, no matter how small or big that they are during the day. Giving each member that vocabulary and that curiosity to dig into how to deal with that emotion or what are they feeling. Lastly, it'll lead to the understanding that we all have emotions and they all are okay. But different emotions do need different tools to help us work through them. For this activity, you will need two things. A bowl, maybe it's a neat bowl that has meaning to you as a family, or a container, as easy as a to-go container. You will also need slips of paper. On that slip of paper, you'll have different emotions written on it and folded up in the bowl. You can, as a family, decide you could create them on rocks and paint them together, or wood chips, or just leave them as paper. Whatever you might find interesting or fun. Once you have these items as a family, you will pass the bowl around to each member. As you pass it, you will grab an emotion, share about what that emotion is, and talk about a time you felt that way during the day. Now, for some littler children, you may have to add a vocabulary, talk about what that means, or even change the word a little bit. For example, if it's frustrated, maybe making it mad as an easier emotion for them to understand. The important part is that each family member then listens and validates that feeling. Maybe it's a nod or, oh yeah, I would too. They will not problem solve as a family member or deny that they should have that emotion. Once a member has shared, they will pass it on to the next member around the table or wherever you're at. The family members then can decide if you keep going around or once each member has shared, ending the activity. This can be a great addition to your daily, or a weekly routine. It can be done in the car. This would be a helpful one, just hanging out in the car, or around the dinner table, or at a bedtime routine. This activity is a great first step to understanding our emotions and creating that safe place. The next step in understanding our emotions is understanding how do we regulate them. As families start the activity, you can add mindfulness activities as a part of it. Maybe you open up with a deep breathing activity before anybody shares. Or after each person shares, everyone takes a deep breath. As you use these, your family members will find, as you feel emotions throughout the day, that'll become an automatic response to take that deep breath. As you feel more comfortable, you can start sharing different strategies and tools that you use when you feel different emotions as well. Thank you for joining me today for this short video, and I hope that you find this helpful in your home. Let's break the stigma and open up the conversation. This can start with your family.